Okay, so welcome to Wild Women. Today we have another special guest with us. Camille, do you want to introduce us?
Yes, so today we have Kelsey, a makeup artist. She is the makeup artist that does my makeup when I do photo shoot.
Hello.
Hi! Do
Kelsey,
you,
do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Camille did a pretty good job. My name is Kelsey. I am a makeup artist. I do a lot of bridal makeup, makeup on models, just creative makeup, and all sorts of stuff. I've been doing it for about a couple years professionally, but I've been doing makeup since I was like 13, and I'm 25 now, so around 12 years. So, yeah.
Long time. When did you know that you had a passion for makeup and knew that that was what you wanted to do?
Well, I didn't really. I've always had a passion for it ever since the early YouTube days. But after high school, I actually got a science degree. Because because I didn't think that I could really make a career out of being a makeup artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got out of school and was struggling to find a job anyways. So I was like, well, why not struggle at something I loved? So that's when I actually decided to pursue it professionally, I guess.
Yeah, super cool, super cool. Yeah, I'm a server just part-time when I'm in school, and there's a lot of people who have gotten 4-year degrees, but they prefer working in a restaurant, and that's what they do anyway. So
I know it's one of my big, not a regret, but kind of. I wish I had taken an easier path because my degree really stressed me out.
Yeah.
And it's for what,
Yeah, definitely.
But I did learn a lot, so I can't really say that I regret it, because I learned even just a lot of life lessons because I moved out on my own for the first time. So it wasn't totally useless, but
yeah.
talking about that, how hard was it to start your business and start doing money out of your passion?
It wasn't too bad, actually. Last year was my first season, which I wasn't super busy because, well, I'm not super busy this season either for obvious reasons. But last year, a lot of people book, for example, their special occasion makeup or their wedding makeup pretty far in advance. And last year I graduated in April, so I started in May. So I didn't have too many clients because it was kind of a last minute thing. But I started out by just doing makeup, and I still do this, just doing makeup for free on anybody who will let me, because I feel I just constantly feel the need to improve.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I initially did. I asked any friend that would let me do their makeup to let me do it and take a photo. And so I could build my portfolio, because as an artist, if you don't have a portfolio, art of any kind, really, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a portfolio, you can't expect people to pay for your work.
Yeah.
So that's what I started. I built a website just using the website builders on Wix, and started an Instagram page and built a portfolio, and then kind of started booking clients from word of mouth, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of offered rates that were a lot lower than my competitors in the area, so that people were more inclined to book with me, so that I could start to build up a clientele.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I started. So it wasn't terribly difficult. I had 26 weddings booked so far for this year, and I think I have 10 left that haven't canceled yet. So it's been struggling. I've been struggling.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's for every makeup artist in the area. That's for almost everybody. So
yeah, definitely.
And it's amazing because you started really small, and now if you look at your Instagram, you have so many followers, and you work with brands and models. How is that experience for you?
Working with brands is kind of difficult, actually. You wouldn't think so, but I've worked with brands I've worked with Too Faced, I've worked with Kylie Cosmetics, I've worked with Urban Decay, just on sponsored Instagram posts and whatnot. And for a person like me, I'm a very passive person. I like to say yes to everybody, and those kinds of big brands will try to get the most out of you for as little as possible. So they will try to, you know, give you reasons as to why they shouldn't pay you X amount of dollars for your work. And so that part is tricky. But I do get a lot of like free product out of it, which is really nice. I've been really lucky and been able to build a lot of my kit based off what I received for free. So my starting costs as a business were really minimal in comparison to other people, I think. But I say that's the hardest part about working with brands, because so far, like most brands have pretty much given me free reign as to what kind of content I want to produce. You know, like they haven't really given me too many strict guidelines on what to create. They kind of let my creativity flow in that regard.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of cool. But working with models, for the most part, has been good. There have been a select few that are a bit of a handful. Camille is not one of them. She's lovely. Some of them kind of think that because they're a model, they can, you know, waste people's time and do whatever they want, because the photo shoot at the end of the day like does revolve around having a model. Some models have been a little bit inconsiderate that way. But it's a select few, and I've met so many really, really nice people through just doing models for free, and I've been able to interact with a lot more photographers and stuff. So that's really nice. That's like the networking part of it is really fun, and that's what I really love.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you were to describe like your, I guess, style as a makeup artist, like, do you have one, or are you still like figuring that out?
I feel like I'm still trying to find it. I think my style is more neutral but still glam, with an emphasis on warm colors. I've noticed this. I don't do it intentionally, but I always gravitate towards like warm brown smoky eyes on people. If someone just said like do whatever you want, that's usually what I gravitate towards. So I'd say that's probably like intuitively my style, but I feel like I'm still trying to develop that and also go out of my comfort zone at the same time. That's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Like when Camille, I think it was one of our first photo shoots together, she was like, I want a blue lip. And I was like, okay. And it ended up looking really good, but it was scary because I was like, oh my gosh, I've never done a blue lip on somebody. And she was like, just go for it. It's all good. She's been good for pushing me out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're so confident in rocking it too, so you can make it like, you make it work.
Thank you.
Camille likes her extravagant colors, that's for sure.
Yeah, and her glitter.
Oh yeah.
So with working with clients and models and all that, how would you describe like today's beauty standards? And are you on board with how they are, or are there some things that you don't agree with?
That's a tough one. I think recently the standard of beauty has really expanded in the skin tone aspect. I think there's the entire range of skin tones are now considered beautiful. However, it's kind of hard to decipher between what brands fully support racial diversity versus brands that are just doing that for a PR move because it looks good for their brand. But as for like, so I think that's definitely improved and expanded. But as for beauty standards in the regard of, for example, the Kylie Jenner looking Instagram models, they all look exactly the same, and that's currently the standard of beauty, which is really hard because a lot of them have a crap ton of fillers yet claim to be natural. And I think that's really detrimental on a lot of people's mental health because they think that they don't look like that. Why don't I look like her? But that's because she's all natural, but she's not. And I think that's a big issue because, for example, with clients, you know, I constantly get a photo of Kim Kardashian. Like, I want my makeup like hers. And it's like, yes, I can do your makeup like hers, but you're not going to look like her. And I think that's what a big thing that people don't really understand is that it's makeup. It's not surgery. It is not fillers. And I think a big issue is rooted in the fact that these influencers do not admit to having these procedures done, you know, because it's way easier to answer the question, well, why don't I look like her? Why don't I look as pretty as her? Because I don't have fillers. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
I think that's really, you know, detrimental to a lot of people, because especially in the age of Instagram, there's fillers, but there's also Facetune. So people will see makeup on Instagram and these girls are looking absolutely flawless. They don't have a fine line or a wrinkle or a pore in sight. And some people do get disappointed when their makeup doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's just not reality. You know what I mean? I think that's the issue with current beauty standards is social media, Facetune, over editing. And I try not, like when I post a photo of my clients, I don't edit their skin at all. Because I don't want to give people an unrealistic expectation of what makeup can do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. Like that's one part that I struggled with photo shoot as well, because like you have a full face of makeup on and like, I mean, your skin looks amazing because full face of makeup, but then they still edit it.
And they still edit your skin. Yeah. And it's like, you're not supposed to have a pore? You're not supposed to have pores? Everyone has pores. What's the issue? I don't understand.
And like, I think like from talking to photographers, they see it as like beauty, but like in an artistic way. So everything has to be perfect, not necessarily because it's someone, but just because it's art. And
yeah,
I think that's a problem with when you do it on people. It's because you forget like they're people and they have mindset and
they're not art. It's a person. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I am guilty too of like face tuning my own skin when I post on Instagram. You know, I'm not perfect, but the thing is I don't lie about it. I've had, you know, people reply to me and be like, your skin looks so flawless, and I'm like, thank you, but reminder, it's a filter. Like I think it's important to remind these people because it's not all that it seems to be. And I remind people that I do use Facetune to edit my skin, because if I have a breakout, I do want my own skin to look flawless. However, if I was posting somebody else, I don't have their consent to touch them up like that. You know what I mean? So if I do it for me, that's one thing, but I would never do it on somebody else because it's not my choice.
Another thing too is like the emphasis on like sex appeal, right? Like
for sure,
people are like so interested in like things looking sexy, but like there's also emphasis on like the natural part of it. And like girls in particular on Instagram and like those Insta influencers and stuff, they're really, really good at making themselves look natural despite
like they're not wearing makeup, but they're wearing a full face of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of on my Instagram page, I kind of err on the side of more artistic makeup. Like you can tell I'm wearing makeup. That's the whole point, you know, like I do like the bright colors and stuff like that. But I totally agree. You know, when I saw this meme and it was like what men really mean when they say they want someone who's natural, and it's like a photo of Kylie Jenner, and if you're a makeup artist or a girl that wears makeup, you can tell she's got an entire face of makeup on, but it's done so subtly that it looks natural. And that's part of the art of it, I think, is that you can make it look like it's someone's features, when in reality it's quite a bit of work. And I think that is also an issue. I do. Like when I do my natural face, it's, you know, just some tinted moisturizer, maybe a little concealer, some brow gel, and then that's it. You know, it doesn't look like a fully contoured, fully eyeliner with individual lashes and, you know, like the whole works. So I think that is also an issue for a lot of people, is thinking that that is something that just comes with a little bit of tinted moisturizer, you know?
Yeah, and like some people are not able to even go out of their house without makeup. And I find
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of sad because it means that you are needing an outside thing to make you feel good enough.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we would have to look at the reason why some girls feel like that, because I don't think it's the girl that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. No,
I think
agree.
it's societal pressures that are placed on us that are the issue at the root of that problem. We're expected to always look like this, so if we don't, we're like, oh crap, something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad.
It is sad.
Like me not wanting to be on camera because I don't have any makeup on, like why am I like that? But I think we all experience it, and I think it's important to recognize that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that we're not the issue, it's society that's the issue.
So I'm sure in starting your business, you've had some challenges that you've had to face. Is there anything that you would have done differently in starting it that you wish you knew back then that you know now?
I think the biggest thing, it's kind of a boring answer, but I think the biggest thing would be keeping track of like my receipts and my purchases for my business for tax purposes. I didn't even think about that really when I was starting, and then tax season rolled around this year and I'm like, oh crap, I got nothing. So I would say just keep track of that stuff. Like if you make so much money here, just put it in an Excel document so you can at least see how much you've earned in a year or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like that became really important with seeing if I was eligible for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit payments, the $2,000 a month, because I was like, oh crap, I didn't get laid off, but my business, I'm not allowed to work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only for businesses that have made over $5,000 or $5,000 in the last X amount of months. Have I made that? I don't know because I didn't keep track.
Oh.
So I eventually, figured my stuff out and I learned my lesson, but I think that would be the biggest thing.
So tell us a little bit about like your favorite brands, your morning routine when it comes to like doing makeup.
As for my morning routine, it's not really existent lately. It's funny because I'm a makeup artist, but I do it so much for like my job that I almost never wear makeup. Mm-hmm. Unless I have an event to go to, which is not very often since I work from home and like work with clients and stuff. And I find when I wear makeup, like when I do makeup on other people, I get really warm and, because I'm reaching around and grabbing things and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I find that it's easier just to not wear makeup. So especially lately, now that I'm not really leaving the house, I hardly ever wear makeup. So my morning routine currently is just washing my face. Sometimes I don't even do that, brushing my teeth, and then that's it. But as for my favorite brands, that's kind of a hard one. I think one of them is definitely ColourPop because they're affordable. And I mean, relative to other brands, right? Affordable is kind of a relative term, subjective term, I suppose. But in comparison to other brands, they're a lot cheaper. And they still have good quality products for the most part. There are some misses as with any brand, but I think they're definitely one of the top in the game right now. And I can see why, because people don't want to pay an arm and a leg for, something that's going to look good still. You know what I mean? I was a really big fan of Anastasia Beverly Hills for a long time until last year when they released like 10 eyeshadow palettes in a year. It was a little crazy and then it got to be a bit much and I got overwhelmed. So I just kind of stopped associating with that brand like entirely. I stopped kind of like following all of their launches and stuff like that just because I was getting so overwhelmed with the amount that they're launching. I think that's another big problem in the industry is people are realizing about how much money is in it right now. Beauty's huge right now. And they're just pumping out products without really putting a lot of thought into it. Too Faced used to be one of my favorite brands, and I think they're one of the brands that are also just kind of pumping out products without really putting much thought into what the quality behind it.
Right.
Like almost like gimmicky products, So last year, Anastasia Beverly Hills, they released a new, I guess, kind of sub brand called the Norvina brand. And they launched 4 eyeshadow palettes that were, I think, $60 each. And they each had like, I want to say at least 20 colors. I don't know the exact amount of shades it had, but it was a lot. And to launch 4 of them, and I'm kind of a collector. Like if I have one of something, I need to have the second and the third and the fourth. And so to spend $60 on one of those, and I was just like, oh no, I can't do it. And the 4th one that they released looks so much like the first one. I don't get what the point was even. It just felt like they were releasing something just to release it. So they used to be one of my favorite brands, but after all of that, I just kind of got overwhelmed and kind of just left them behind. I think one brand that I've been really getting into is Elf, actually.
Oh,
they did
ask about it. I love Elf.
I do too. They completely, like, they did a rebrand and they're completely vegan, which is awesome. Really, really affordable. And they have some really good stuff. I think at that price point, there's always going to be a couple of misses, you know, like not everything's going to be awesome, especially with products like that are really hard to formulate. For example, like purple and blue eyeshadow. It's really hard to get a formula like that right, especially at a cost so low. So
yeah, I'm actually wearing Elf eyeshadow right now, and it's supposed to be purple, but it's a little bit off.
It's like a little, is it like brownie purple? It kind of looks brownie purple. There's nothing wrong with brownie purple.
You like that?
Yeah, so I think they are also really killing it right now. They just released a collab with an influencer. I think her name's Jay Kissa, I think. Oh. And they did like a rainbow palette and stuff like that. I don't know if it was aligned with Pride Month. I'm not too sure. I don't really like follow her, but they released a collab and I'm pretty sure it sold out really, really fast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've been really enjoying like browsing their stuff in Walmart recently because I feel like they've really stepped up their game.
Do you only buy vegan or it's just like something you prefer?
So I only buy from cruelty-free companies. Okay. So no animal testing, but if they're not vegan, like if they have beeswax, I'm not vegan. If they have beeswax in it or carmine, that's a derivative of beetles. So vegans obviously can't use products with carmine in it. I still use that, but I do have some vegan clients that obviously I won't use those particular products on. For the most part, my kit is pretty much vegan. There's just a couple things that I can't use on other people or on vegan people. So for that, I have a couple of alternatives. But for the most part, yeah, there's not a ton of non-vegan options. Like there's so many vegan options is what I'm trying to say. That's like, why wouldn't I buy the ones that don't inflict animal cruelty, you know?
Yeah.
There's still quite a few brands that do perform animal testing, which is sad, but I just don't buy from them because there's, again, so many alternatives. Yeah. Especially at an affordable price. You know what I mean? Like Elf, completely cruelty-free and vegan, and they have good products. So why would I buy something from L'Oreal that tests on animals versus Elf or ColourPop or something like that?
Now, when it comes to, I guess, hair and like perfume, stuff like that, are you also interested in like that part of aesthetic too?
No. Okay. I hate hair.
You hate hair. Gotcha.
Yeah. But I'm gonna have to learn how to do it because I've been on photo shoots so many times. And they're like, can you just do a quick curl on her? And I'm like, no, I can't, because I don't know how. So I was thinking about, like, I was wondering if there was a course on like just hairstyling, because I have no interest in doing like cuts or colors or anything like that. Right. But like just hairstyling, like if I could just take a course, but I can't find one at all. If you want to do like hair school, it has to be like the whole shebang, I guess.
Right.
So I'm like, maybe I'll just watch a couple YouTube tutorials and like practice on myself and other people, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll do the same thing with the makeup part. I'll do their hair, but I don't think people should have high expectations. Yeah, I don't love doing hair. I don't really like doing nails. I was thinking about maybe doing like a microblading course, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Could be cool, but I don't know, it seems a bit permanent for me, you know? Like, what if somebody hates them?
Yeah.
I would freak out. So I don't know. I would like to venture into other options besides just the makeup part, but I'm still enjoying just the makeup part so much that I don't really feel like I need to venture out, you know?
100%. How about like collab? So I know that the lady that did my photography for my prom pictures, she had a makeup artist who always worked with her too. Have you ever thought of like working with a photographer like that?
I would love to, but I really haven't found a photographer yet that I'm like, yes, I would love to work with you every day. There have been a couple really nice ones and stuff like that, but I just haven't found one that I like really click with yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to do that because I'm sure that would make, you know, getting more clients a lot easier because people are always looking for a photographer, it feels like. I would love to do that. I do have a couple that I kind of work with, but not exclusively, if that makes sense. I recently got engaged and
Congratulations.
oh, thank you. The girl, I met her, we worked a wedding together. I just loved her. So her name's Kaylee. She's in Brockville. So shout out to her, I guess.
Actually, she's the one who did my prom photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm from
Stop.
Rock.
That's such a small world. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her. She's so sweet. She's doing my wedding.
Yeah.
Because we met at a wedding and she's super cool and I loved her. I went through her photos. I'm like, holy crap, these are beautiful. Like, she's really good. And so now she's doing my wedding because I feel like she'll get better photos than someone that as being someone who I'm already friends with. I think she'll get some really good, like more candid, authentic photos than someone who I don't know already, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm paying for her to go from Brockville to Toronto because that's where our wedding's going to be. So I'm paying for a hefty travel fee to get her there, but I think it'll be worth it.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. I met her like a long time ago. Like, we used to dance with each other. Like, it was probably like 9 or 10 when I first met.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so I think I have a couple photo shoots, like, because she specializes in boudoir shoots, right? So I think we're doing a collaborative one hopefully in July. Yeah, I'm not really banking on anything happening at this point, so hopefully we can do it, but if not, it can wait, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah, I think I don't really have like a hairstylist I work with exclusively either. I have met a couple of hairstylists that I think have done really good work. So whenever I have a bride that's like, oh, I need a hairstylist that's mobile, do you have any suggestions? I'll refer them out. But it's not really a collaboration. Like, I don't expect anything back. I just refer them because I think that they are professional and do good work, if that makes sense.
What's your pet peeve when it comes to beauty and makeup?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I have one. Probably people who don't take care of their skin and expect makeup to look fantastic on top of it. Because there's a difference. Like, everyone's got, like, you know, little bumps and some clogged pores and stuff like that. Like, that's totally normal. But some people I think just have too high of expectations. I've mentioned it before on what makeup can do. You know, like, it's going on your face. Oftentimes it does accentuate any sort of texture that's already there or anything like that. And I think that's probably my biggest pet peeve, is people who just like expect too much out of me.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
how do you respond when people are not happy with their makeup?
That's only happened once to me, and I cried. I felt so unprofessional, but she was really rude about it. So she took it off and I redid it, and then she was happy. So I was like, okay, cool.
That works.
After I cried a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't happen too often because I try to communicate like what people are wanting as best I can. I think in that situation though, the client, I don't think she knew what she wanted. So she showed me my own photo. So I know I did the same thing. So I think she just didn't expect it to look the way it did on her, if that makes sense. And that totally happens. I just wish she had been a little bit nicer about it, because she totally freaked out. Another pet peeve, it's not really related to beauty. It's kind of related to that though, just like people that are rude. And like there's, you know, a lot of the times I'll do someone's makeup and they'll be like, I'm not really feeling this part. Can we tweak it? Can we change this? And usually it's no problem. But there are some people that are really rude about things like that, even if they're simple changes. And it's just unnecessary, you know? I think that's my like worst client pet peeve, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people working in any type of service would completely agree with you with that one.
Oh my gosh, I know. Like, I've been pretty lucky so far. I haven't had any like, well, I've had a couple like real like a-holes, but for the most part, I've been pretty lucky. But yeah, there's always that select few, right? And you're like, why are you so angry at the world? Yeah, I'd say that's my biggest pet peeve. And then, you know, being someone who represents me, you know, like I don't represent a company. I don't represent, you know, a large corporation. It's just me. And you have to kind of sit there and, you know, try to make it better without jeopardizing your own reputation. You know what I mean?
100%.
And that can be hard, because a lot of times you do want to, you know, dish it back to them, but you have to remain professional. And I think it's not hard for me, but usually I just want to cry. I'm a sensitive flower. So yeah, that's the hardest part.
You have a YouTube channel as well, do you?
I do. I haven't posted on it a lot lately, just because I say I have nothing to do, but I feel like I have been busy. I've actually been working on with an app company for a new beauty app. So that's kind of what my focus has been. I'm not sure like how many details I can reveal about it right now, but that's kind of what I've been doing. So I feel like I haven't uploaded on my YouTube channel, but I do have one. Yeah, it's fun. I do like doing it. It's time consuming, you know? Because you have to not only film it, but you got to edit it, and you also have to come up with ideas for your videos. And that's the hardest part, is coming up with an idea that you think that people would actually want to watch.
Yeah, totally. So I'm gonna ask a bit of a personal question.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Had like awful eczema like all over my body for almost a year. And then finally I found like the right like balance between some type of prescription cream and a couple different types of prescription pills just for my eczema.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I finally got under control. But because of that, like I also really want to make sure that I have the good moisturizers and like exfoliators that are not gonna like dry out my skin again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you have any recommendations?
I'm trying to think. I'm not like as educated in the skincare ingredient field as I would like to be yet. I really like, I know they're pricey, but I really like Drunk Elephant products. They have like a really good oil that's really nice. Have you tried any oils at all?
I am using this one oil right now. I'm also using this one cream. It's called Aven.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I guess it's just more like the exfoliators that I'm really, really like worried about. Like it was weird because like in high school I had like oilier skin.
Eczema is a tricky one though. Like there's so many things that can cause that. I do get like some eczema flare-ups on my elbows as well as on my underarms, which is really weird. I just like had a really bad flare-up, and it's like I don't know what caused it because I didn't use anything new, nothing like that. And it just, I think it might be stress induced maybe. Like there's so many factors that go into that kind of thing. Yeah, I would, for exfoliators, I would say maybe something that's not like a physical exfoliator, because that could cause some irritation. Maybe more of a chemical exfoliator. You can look into the ingredients AHA and BHA. Maybe like, I can send you that too if you forget. They're more chemical exfoliators. I've been using one. It's BHA, which is salicylic acid. And because I have a lot of hormonal acne, not a lot, but my acne is hormonal, and I get it kind of in my cheek area. So I've been using a salicylic acid serum. So I leave it on my face because I'm not really dry at all. And that I've noticed a noticeable difference, or I guess I've noticed a big difference in the amount of clogged pores I get, because it's exfoliating all of the dead skin away, and which is less likely to clog your pores.
Right.
Probably wouldn't recommend like a BHA serum for you. Probably something that you rinse off would be better, because you are dry. But yeah, I would recommend looking into that. I also, like, even as someone who has oily skin, oil is my friend. I don't know if you already do this, but also make sure that you're staying away from a lot of any fragrance at all. Now, if anything that's supposed to, go on my skin, like, I don't really have a problem with, those scented eyeshadow palettes and stuff like that. As long as they're eye safe, it's fine with me. But things that I have that are going directly onto my skin, if it's fragranced, I don't want it. Yeah. So I think that's a really big one too. And also essential oils. A lot of essential oils can be really irritating.
Oh, yeah.
So I know that a lot of companies try to like do the whole, greenwashing thing, like, oh, essential oils because it's more natural. But when it comes to skincare, it's like, that's really not beneficial anyway. You know?
I used tea tree oil sometime last year, like for like a pimple, and it just burned, and it left like a big like red mark.
Tea tree is actually the only one that I will consider using on my skin, just because I'm so oily and so acne prone that it kind of like, I use it almost like a spot treatment from time to time for those really big bumps. But yeah, so I'll use it for that. But yeah, if you have sensitive skin, that's not something that I would recommend. And it sounds like you have sensitive, delicate skin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What does beauty means to you?
Oh, boy. I don't know if I've ever been asked that. I think, I was going to say healthy, just looking healthy. But as someone that's not healthy can still be beautiful, You're not going to tell a cancer patient that they're not beautiful because they're not in a current state of health. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think maybe just happiness. You don't have to wear a lot of makeup, but like a big smile, it's contagious, and it's really such a nice thing to look at. So that's what I would say. It sounds kind of corny, but like, it's true.
Yeah. And I find like confidence is so attractive.
For sure. And you're just so much more willing to, speak to somebody if they're smiling or if they, have confidence. I don't have a lot of confidence. That's something that I need to work on, but I'm happy. So that's something, right? I think we can all work on our confidence. I think that's something everybody should probably work on.
Like, just society in general. Like, there's so many telling you that you're not good enough, right?
And there's so many other people to compare yourself to, that you're able to compare yourself to nowadays with social media and stuff, right? Like, you're always comparing yourself to somebody, and I think we all need to cut that out and realize that we are great and beautiful the way we are.
What advice would you give someone that's starting with makeup, and you said it yourself, you're trying to be more confident? So what advice would you give someone?
I don't know. I feel like that's a question for you. You're always the one who's posting about, body positivity, confidence, and all of those great things, which I should probably pay more attention to, because though I say that it's something I should be doing, I'll be honest, it's not something that I really focus on. I'm a bit of a workaholic, but not on myself, and that's an issue. So I would say the most important thing would be just to like invest the time, commit yourself to it, and just be like, okay, I'm just going to research how to be more confident. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to follow a couple confidence building, body positive accounts on Instagram. I'm going to, just small things that may not seem like a big deal, but are small steps and that are easy. And I think like I started following, because I have an anxiety disorder, I started following, some anxiety accounts that are supposed to be, more positive, because especially seeing on the news and stuff like that, especially lately, it's just such a negative thing to see But then you log on Instagram and you see a picture of a really nice hand-drawn flower that says you're beautiful, you know, like it doesn't seem like much, but if you expose yourself to that more and more, I think that's doing a lot more than you'd think.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, just like even like subliminal messages and stuff like that, you don't realize that you're being exposed to all these benefits or not beneficial that you're exposed to. They have, I think, a much more effect on your mental well-being than we are aware of.
Yeah.
So I think even just making that first step to surround yourself with more positive reinforcements is a fantastic first step. And to those just starting with makeup, I would just say, you know, practice. It took me so long to get where I am today skill-wise, and I still have a long way to go. But if you like it enough, it's fun to practice, so it's all good.
Well, thank you so much. And it was so nice meeting you.
But thank you so much for having me. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
do my grocery shopping now.
Yeah, have fun.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.